Alright guys, so this is basically the fundamentals or the main things that I've been doing while I've been lifting but in a more conscious way. And I could make a lot of videos showing you exercises to do, but you'll never get it. If you don't understand what's happening in the mind, the internal stuff that's happening, you're only seeing the surface stuff. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that show you what's happening on the outside, and for that there's a ton of resources that you can find. Just search the type of exercise you're trying to look or you're trying to do, whether it's dancing or weightlifting, calisthenics, whatever it is that you would like to do. This is basically building that fundamental inside strength that's going to make you the best that you can be. So, to start off, I want to say that every action has its own equal and opposite reaction. I'm sure you've heard as above, so below. When you're doing let's say you're doing a push-up or you're doing a pull-up, the strength or the force that you're applying on that bar is putting the same force on you. The only reason that you don't feel that is because you're either not even paying attention, you're just doing an empty movement without even thinking of what you're doing, and you're not aligned. If you were aligned, if you can see here, that force works at its full potential when your mind and your body are perfectly aligned, concentrated and focused on that exercise, balancing the body on that point. If you look here on this little picture, when you can focus your attention, let's say even if you had a barbell right here, if you can focus your mind on becoming centered and balancing the two forces, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel that the weight becomes light because it activates all your muscles within your body. And I'm going to make more videos on this. I'm going to actually show you, record myself doing this, even though what you might see on the physical or even seeing me do is the same shit that you're going to see other people do. But it's going to have a whole different sensation when you apply these principles. You're going to feel real strength and you're going to see what I'm saying or feel what I'm saying. You're going to see it or see it for yourself. The second thing is that you need to realize that everything begins at your root. And your root is your hips. This is where power comes from. You need to learn to ground yourself. And everything that I think there's 12 of these. So I'm going to make a separate video on explaining more, but I just want you guys to understand these things first, that your hips are super powerful, and I could explain so much, and I'll give you guys tips for your mind to help you learn how to root yourself in the fastest way. You need to regain a lot of this lost connection with your pelvis. A lot of you guys, when you sit on a chair, you put most of your pressure on your back and you don't focus on using and rooting yourself with your hips. So this begins to become weak and you're not using your full power that you can. And I'll make another video, but you need to regain this connection with your pelvis. This is what transfers all load from your hands to your feet and your feet to your hands. You need to train from the inside out. The energy body that in this quote, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Sadhguru, but check his videos out. He gives a lot of information. Really good stuff if you're ready for it. And when you train from the inside out, this is basically what he's saying, is that if you look at anything in nature, everything uncoils, if you will. It starts from the inside out. You don't see things start from the outside in. When we begin to move from our inside, that's gonna align our body. You don't hurt yourself. A lot of us are more in this peripheral stuff, of the superficial stuff, I should say, of not focusing or moving from within. When you move from within, you're going to begin to feel real power. And it's really easy to get lost and just force things. I know because I've been doing, I know so much because I've done everything wrong for the past 15 years. And it wasn't just until the last 15 years or the last year that I actually started paying attention to what I'm doing. And it was so much different. You'll feel the real power of working from the inside out. The breath, you guys take this shit for granted. I know I did. The breath is everything. And I'm going to make a very special video on this because this is the link to the body and the mind. Without the breath, you're gone. And a lot of the times we get so lost and focused on trying to lift something that we forget about that equal opposite reaction. We forget to breathe, we contract. Everything goes to shit because we let our mind, our ego, our that wanting to show off, or even though it's good to push yourself, you need to push yourself to the point where you can still breathe properly. Because the breath is aligning your body, it's strengthening your core. When you lift weights or do any exercise, but you do it in sync with your breath, you're going to feel the biggest difference. You'll more than likely never hurt yourself, and you will learn so much from the breath. If only you just take the time to listen and pay attention to it. And when it comes to weightlifting, which is what I like to do, I've been weightlifting since I was 15. And when you're that young, it's all about lifting heavy weights and trying to show off and just dumb stuff. And if your body's already bad posture, if you hurt yourself, have flat feet, and you just go and try lift heavy weights without really having a sense for your body, you're just going to mess yourself up even more. I know I did. But for this, you need to realize that weights are tools to align the body. You need to center yourself with the weights. And I'm going to give you guys more tools for the mind so that the mind can help the body heal itself and fix itself. But remember that the purpose of this isn't to lift weights. The purpose is to feel the tension from the weights so that it can align the body. When you align the body with the weights will lift themselves. When you align yourself with the weights will lift themselves. You need to remember that because it's so easy to forget. Or at least once you get into that zone, you start lifting, you forget and you start just focusing on lifting the weight rather than aligning the body. And the main thing to this is you need to tense and relax. It's not just about tension and contraction. You need to tense into wherever you're feeling pain within your body. And you'll notice that when you tense into that pain or contraction in your body and you relax, at the same time, it just releases that tension or that pain, and it will it'll center your body. It'll straighten it out to a point where you won't feel that pain or that contraction anymore. It's really interesting how that works, and you're going to have to experience that for yourself. Everything that I'm telling you here, you need to see it for yourself. Don't believe it. Just know that I've been doing this, and this is what I'm sharing with you guys. Everything's about you. So it's really easy to get distracted in the gym, and maybe some person is doing something stupid or something really incredible, so you lose your attention. But you need to bring that attention back to yourself, because when you're even taking a quick pick at somebody, you lose your focus, you lose that attention. This requires that you give it 100% of your attention. Be with yourself 100% while you're doing any exercise. You can't be doing a movement and thinking of something else. You're not aligning the mind with the body if you're doing this. Your hands and feet are so powerful. This is where you're basically transferring loads when you grip something or while you're standing. If you're imbalanced or have no sense for your feet or your hands, you're not going to transfer that load, that force, throughout your body properly. You'll notice with these exercises or these tips that I'm going to give you that the minute you balance your hands out, it just moves your body in certain ways to where it starts to activate muscles that you haven't been using. This is really important. Your hands, you need to stay focused on your hands, the outer portion. And like I said, I'll make another video on especially this one. So while you're at the gym or wherever it is that you're doing exercise, even at home, you're eating or doing something, you need to shut up and feel what you're doing. When you think about something, it's a different sensation. I'm not saying thinking is bad, but when you actually feel rather than think, you'll see what I'm saying. You need to use your imagination too. So if you're doing exercise and trying to get a certain body type, let's say you're doing gymnastics, you can get that body by weightlifting. If you use your imagination, using your hands and your feet to transfer the load that you're using with the weights to your body while using your imagination, you'll see that your body begins to change and look like a gymnast body or whatever body you're trying to, get to. I remember when I was at the gym, some person came up to me, or actually quite a bit of people came up to me and asked me if I was a gymnast simply because of what I was imagining. And the way I was imagining was the way that my body was kind of manifesting, or the movement of it was happening. And I mean, it's just weird how that works. You need to see this stuff for yourself. And you need to train holistic. What I mean by this is that the entire body is connected. There's not one part of your body that's not connected to each other. Your fingers, your toes, your belly button, everything is connected. It all links to one single point, and this is what you're trying to train to. This is going to be a special video as well, if you don't understand what I mean. And proprioception, your body's ability to sense itself. This is huge. There's a lot of tools for this. And, when I first started, my balance sucks so bad. But I started using these, the Busoba. That works wonders. But it's not just about jumping on there and trying to, balance yourself. There's a special way to do this stuff. It goes back to that first thing of every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So when you're stepping on this buso ball, you're not just stepping it and trying to balance your body from falling. What you're doing is you're trying to sense that center point of where that buso ball is pivoting. When you sense that part of where the buso ball is pivoting, you're trying to channel that up your body, up your spine, and let that kind of radiate to your muscles so that it starts activating muscles that have been shut off for a while. And you'll see what I mean by this in another video. But remember, guys, that these things are super important. There's not one that's more important than the other. The order doesn't matter. But there's just so many. But these right here have worked wonders for me. And they'll work wonders for you if you just stick to them. These are very basic too. They're not hard. All that you need to do is learn to relax your body. It's almost like an aggressive relaxation. Anyway, check out the next few videos. First one on meditative lifting, or that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And I'll give you guys a simple tool that you can even, so that you can feel and know what I'm saying, so that you don't just say or make this a belief rather than than an experience for you.